Interesting facts and stories from the life of Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche is one of the most famous philosophers in the world, whose ideas still influence culture, art, and even psychology. His life was as dramatic and unusual as his thoughts. Let's look at some of the most fascinating facts and stories. 1. A child prodigy, Nietzsche was born in 1844 in the small German village of Racken. From early childhood, he showed incredible talents. At the age of 12, he began writing poetry and music, and by 14, he was already creating his own works on philosophy and history. To an extraordinary student at the age of 24, Nietzsche became a professor of classical philology at the University of Basel, even without a doctoral degree. This was a unique case. Professors that young were extremely rare at the time. 3. Friendship with composer Richard Wagner. Nietzsche was a close friend of the famous composer Richard Wagner. They spent a lot of time together, and Nietzsche believed that music could open a new sense of life. However, their paths later diverged as Nietzsche criticized Wagner for his extreme nationalism and cult of power. For illness and suffering from a young age, Nietzsche suffered from poor health. He was tormented by migraines, vision problems, and stomach issues. Often, he wrote his philosophical works while lying in bed, almost blinded by pain. 5. Philosophy of life and the Bermensch. Nietzsche went down in history as the author of the idea of the Bermensch Overman or Superman, a person capable of overcoming weaknesses and creating their own values. His famous phrase, "God is dead," became a symbol of a new era in philosophy, where the focus was not on blind tradition, but on creating one's own meaning. 6. Incredible productivity. Nietzsche wrote with astonishing speed. Some of his books were completed in just a few weeks. For example, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, one of his most famous works, was written in the Swiss Alps in a remarkably short time. 7. Loneliness and misunderstanding. During his lifetime, Nietzsche remained largely unknown. His books sold poorly, and contemporaries often criticized his ideas. He spent much of his life in solitude, suffering from illness and alienation. 8. A tragic end in 1889. In Turin, he suffered a mental breakdown. According to legend, he saw a horse being beaten and rushed to protect it. After this, Nietzsche lost his sanity and never wrote again. He spent the rest of his life under the care of his mother and later his sister. 9. Posthumous fame. Nietzsche died in 1900, never having received recognition during his lifetime. But in the 20th century, his ideas became immensely influential. From art to psychology, from literature to philosophy, Nietzsche's thoughts changed the world. The main lesson of his life, Nietzsche showed that even suffering can become a source of strength. His words, "What does not kill us makes us stronger," still inspire millions of people around the globe.